Line up, you fucking nerds. Who wants a shot at the champ?
They bring the heat.
Francis Ngannou is the hardest puncher in the history of fighting.
They bring the knowledge.
If you think this fight is going 5 rounds, you are out of your mind.
They bring you the picks.
The dog is getting it done in this one.
We deliver every single week. We're bringing the heat, ladies and gentlemen.
The money line.
Don't miss it on the MMA Experts channel each week. The Money Line. We are live on a beautiful Monday. It's UFC 323 fight week. I am AJ, joined as always by my guy, Mike Finch. What's going on, bro?
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
Yes.
Everywhere you go. What up, motherfuckers? I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. I know AJ and I did. Look at the sun-kissed face of AJ DeVito. Mike, I thought you Italians kind of tan a little bit, dog. What's with the redneck Italian blood? What's going on here?
I normally get red to light brown before I go light brown. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It's a little redness first, man. I cook first.
All right. Yeah. You got a little sizzled there, but
Yeah.
AJ enjoyed himself in the Caribbean. All
Mhm.
right. I hope he didn't, bring nothing too crazy back. You know, I know what they like to sell out there. Like
Sober J,
when
bro.
The last time I went on a cruise, and we talked about the cruise line and all that. Last time I went, I get off in Cozumel. First thing, do you want cocaine? First thing, I just came off the boat. You know what I mean? They see the shirt. They're like, he does coke. You know, I'm like, whoa, cocaine and then hookers. Those are the two things I was offered within 2 minutes of being in the country. Come on, son. Damn.
I saw the drugs being sold. I heard, and I'm like, what the fuck? But nah, bro, I'm sober J, man.
Yeah, that's right. AJ's with his girl. He's like, come on, man. I can't have no hookers right now. Would you stop, bro?
Pass on the hookers, man. I don't want to get HIV.
Never. It's always better when the girl likes
promiscuous.
You. Okay?
Yeah.
Behave yourself, kids.
I think that the hooker thing, I guess I'm gonna be blunt, it's designed for, guys that maybe are incredibly unattractive or potentially paraplegic. Like, if there was an episode of Shameless, bro. The guy got his fucking back broken in a motorcycle crash.
He said,
I'll have to pay for sex for the rest of his life. And I said, unfortunately, that's the case sometimes, Now, granted, there's some guys that are paraplegic still getting down and dirty. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they don't have to pay for. I'm just saying, though, that's more acceptable in those terms.
I will let you in on something, bro. I live in Southern California. There are many dudes who are not paraplegic and not ugly who pay for sex. Okay. There's a lot of that.
The California style.
I know of a business in Las Vegas where that's what they do. They like cater parties with sex workers. Yeah. Not my cup of tea, to be fair, everybody. Married man. How the fuck did we start talking about this? How dare I derail us like this? Good to see you again. There have been some fights made since we've been back.
We got UFC 324. They announced pretty much the full card. Obviously, we'll talk about the main event. We have the matchup for the interim championship, Paddy the Baddy, Justin Gaethje, with Ilia Topuria on the sidelines due to some custody battles, potentially some issues going alongside of the divorce and whatnot, keeping him outside of the octagon. I see why he didn't want to fight if his, mind is not going to be a full locked in.
He slapped his girl? Is that what's going on?
His girl and him, they're getting divorced.
Yeah, but is there a domestic violence thing?
No, I have no evidence of that.
Fake news? Good.
I didn't hear anything like that.
I heard that from a fighter today. He's like, yo, I've been listening to MMA Guru, and yeah, Topuria beat up his girl. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, he hit her. I'm like, he says like, yeah, she tweeted or something that he hit me, and I'm like, bro, if Ilia Topuria hits you, she going out, dog. Like, that's not, you don't want Ilia Topuria domestic violence. That's a bad DM. Although we shouldn't joke about domestic violence. I hope that didn't happen.
I don't think it did. Swerve, thank you for the big 5. Yo, just tuned in. First thing I hear is paraplegics paying to get laid. That's why I love y'all. Happy to have you back, AJ. Much love, guys. Hey, it's good to be back. I miss you, Savages. I had a nice Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. Back on business Monday. I had the video Thursday on Thanksgiving with a little reaction video special. But trust me, I'm happy to be back with the people and chopping it up with this guy right here. And we'll be talking fights soon. Right now, we're on side tangents galore, but we're having a good time. I think that Paddy Pimblett versus Justin Gaethje is a great matchup. I really like the fight. I know a lot of people are upset by it, but let's look at the other options. Would it have been Alex Pereira versus Carlos Ulberg? Doesn't seem like Alex Pereira is looking to make too many quick turnarounds anymore. I think he's looking to take his time. Maybe we see him in March, February. We got Cyril Gane Aspinall supposed to happen again. But Tom Aspinall, he just got diagnosed with Brown syndrome. His eyes are not properly moving. He's still having vision issues after the eye gouge against Cyril Gane. So that's out of the question. We're not going to have Harrison Nunes as the main event of it. So they've said, hey, this is a matchup that I think draws casual fan intrigue. You got Paddy the Baddy, who's the star of the UK. You got Justin Gaethje, the most violent lightweight of all time. Let's have them fight for the interim belt. The winner gets the title shot. And Mike Finch, I know you got more to elaborate on why this fight was made.
Yeah, I mean, the number one thing, well, first off, I would have liked Payton versus, Carlos Ulberg. If they could have made that happen, throw the money at Payton. I want to see that fight so bad, dude. I would like that way more than any of this shit. But what I'm seeing people say is, oh my God, it's Arman Tsarukyan got robbed. This is unbelievable. Guys, were you here last year when Arman Tsarukyan was supposed to fight Islam Makhachev? Y'all remember that? Okay. What happened? He pulled out with 48 hours to go because of his back. And then he was seen training down the street here at Ruka the next week. My buddy Sebastian saw him at Sprouts with Khamzat Chimaev. What, you think they weren't training? You think anybody can hang out with Khamzat Chimaev and not be training? Something fishy was going on there. You think the UFC appreciates him pulling out on fight week in a strange way like that? No. So he's being punished. Like, this is like Dana rewards bad motherfuckers like Justin Gaethje who accept the fights, who when Max Holloway points at the ground, Justin Gaethje jumps into the fire. Dana's rewarding that type of behavior. This is how the business runs, So did it surprise me that they didn't give the title shot to Arman Tsarukyan? Not at all. Not at all. I told you guys before that he's going to be a couple fights away from a title because of the way he pulled out of that fight, So I'm not surprised at all. Now, it should have been Ilia Topuria versus Paddy Pimblett, the history behind it and all that. But now it's Justin Gaethje. Is Justin Gaethje the most deserving guy? No. Is it going to be a fun fight? Yes. And will it set up potentially Paddy versus Ilia Topuria? Should Paddy get past the test? Yes. Did you see the graphic that Paddy's fought everybody on losing streaks in his last few fights? Have you seen that? The 0 for 12 thing?
That's funny. I didn't see that graphic, but yeah, it's true.
Yeah, 0 for 12 if you combine the loss streaks, right? So there is something different about fighting somebody off of a loss. When he fights a fucking Ilia Topuria or an Arman Tsarukyan, the aura is all different. Paddy Pimblett, gets a big, I don't want to call it a layup, but it's definitely a favorable fight for him in a very favorable position. And he gets that because he's a star in the making.
I think it is definitely winnable for the side of Paddy the Baddy because you also have a warrior like Justin Gaethje who's not necessarily in his fighting prime. Granted, still 3-1 in his last 4. So something to be said. It's not like, you got completely dog washed by Max Holloway in a round, but he was violently chinned in round 5. He then went on to beat Fiziev by a decision. And now in the interim championship fight, I think that Justin Gaethje, if they hit the mat, I think he struggles with the Paddy the Baddy jiu-jitsu and the size. I think people sometimes underestimate how big, Paddy the Baddy is at 155. He's one of the larger lightweights in the world. And then on top of that, having high caliber ground skills. And it's not like he's a slouch with kickboxing. Paddy's deceptively quick. Listen, the Scousers don't get knocked out. We're going to find out because Justin Gaethje can load him up like nobody.
Scousers don't
go down. I think
Justin Gaethje's jiu-jitsu is almost non-existent. The way he got mounted triangled by Khabib. it just shows how Khabib knew, they have so many mutual, they have the same management team. And I mean, he had an idea of what the holes in the ground game were of Justin Gaethje. He went mounted triangle, bro. He put his nuts in his face. You know what I'm saying? So I think Paddy Pimblett is leagues above Justin Gaethje when it comes to the submission grappling aspect. Obvious he's going to want to take it there.
Yeah, agreed. Early lean. I'll tell you, the trading champ dropping 99.99.
Early lean is the trading champ, motherfuckers. Let's go.
He says Pantoja's my GOAT. AJ Joshua Van has no chance. Much love. Hey, much love, trading champ. We'll get to that fight very soon, bro.
He knows you love Joshua Van.
I'm a Van's witness, bro.
You love Joshua Van.
They got the Jehovah's Witnesses at your door.
Van?
You got me here online telling you Joshua Van, you know?
Oh my God. Is he going to pick Joshua Van later, trading champ? Is that what you're getting me ready for? I'm not ready for this. All right. We're going to have to do that later. Thank you, trading champ.
Hey, King in the North. Thank you for the big 5. Patty with relative ease. Easy money, baby. Let's fucking go. Gaethje getting finished. I agree. I'm going sub Patty the Batty. I'll tell you right now. That's what I'm feeling about main event number 1 of 2026. But we'll talk about it as it gets closer, more in depth. You know what's crazy though, Finch? The UFC has this week, next week. We're not on until January 24th, bro. So we have like a long UFC hiatus. And this is actually the longest UFC break we have had since I've been with the channel. So it's actually kind of crazy. We're going to be off. I mean, I'll still be on. I got plans, man. I'll be gaming.
You won't see me, bro. I'm like Gandalf the Gray, Gandalf the White. I'll be fighting the Balrog. Every day will be a life age of the earth. You guys read Tolkien, right? You guys read the book. I'll be gone. No, I'll come around. I'll come hang out. We'll have to do something. You know what we should do? We should have Trading Champ on one of the shows. He's asked to be on.
I like the member shows. Yeah, I think it'll be fun during the off weeks. We do Q&As with like face-to-face members of the chat. I think that'll be a lot of fun. We'll do something like that for sure. I think that's definitely the vibe. Now let's talk real quick. Co-main event. It's happening. Kayla Harrison, Amanda Nunes. I have to tell you, when I heard this was going to be the main event, I immediately knew it was going to be the co-main event. I wasn't getting bamboozled and fooled. I'm like, they're not doing it as the main, but I like it as the co-main event. I want to see if Nunes still has it. Kayla Harrison's an absolute beast. Grappling, top control, physical strength. She's a rare breed. She's like a Ronda Rousey extreme, super Ronda Rousey is the vibe. And Amanda Nunes is the greatest female fighter of all time, but we've seen a couple of moments where there's, chinks in the armor and whatnot. I look at this matchup and I have to tell you, it's the women's fight now. Seeing that Weili Zhang and Valentina Shevchenko, as far as the excitement of the matchup, was a bit of a letdown, big letdown. This is like the women's fight of this decade. I think if Amanda Nunes still got it, and I'm going to push the if she still got it, I think she can definitely handle this. The problem is you don't fight 2.5 years. No matter how great, ring rust is a factor. And Kayla Harrison has been, fairly active. She's 3-0 in the UFC. Physically, she's a problem for any woman at 135 because I don't know how the hell she makes the weight class. It's one of those fights, though, that like has you really sitting and wondering, like, what's going to come to be. What do you think of that matchup, Finch?
Love it. Love it. I mean, obviously Amanda Nunes is a force to be reckoned with on the feet. She hits hard. In the female divisions, you're going to be hard pressed to find somebody who could turn their shoulders over and turn their hips over into punches like that. She could really rock girls and put them out. Ask Chris Cyborg. But, she's fighting a woman in her prime, this judoka Olympian who even has a bit of a size advantage, just massive for the division. So, we'll break it down when it comes. Is the fight sick? Yes. Come on. Love it. Love the way they set it up. Mutual respect. They both train together. A lot of times when you train together, you get a good feel for each other and it makes for a tactical fight. I'm interested to see how it plays out. I think Amanda Nunes needs to let her hands go. She probably knows that.
Sugar Show making it back as we got a dono from Johnny Tabasco. Thank you for the 5. Made $12K on Volkan KO, Gary decision, and Armand sub parlay. Hey, W to the cycle parlay, bro. Sub call was money. AJ, girls look at me different when parlays hit. They leak like a fire hydrant. Congratulations, my man. I'm glad that my picks are getting you wins elsewhere besides just the gambling side. W though.
Yo, good job on that. That's kind of a wild parlay though. That is a really wild.
I
parlay.
called it, bro. I called it.
Wow. That's
It's
that
the
was your
mystic match,
parlay.
eh? Yes.
You went Vulcan KO, Gary decision, Armin sub.
Yeah. That
Armin
was the
sub.
psycho parlay of the week, man. I like to drop one of those a week.
Wow, you are psycho. That's cool. Good job.
Yeah.
Good job. We want some money. We want some money
Yeah.
over on Premium Channel.
Yeah.
We did a $1 Premium Channel, AJ. You remember?
remember.
$1. So we got flooded. My boy Tawab's fucking up at 2 a.m. fucking getting people into the channel.
That's nice.
But it was dope, and we won money, and it was good. And now for Black Friday, we're doing $100 off a year paid in full. Hit me up on Instagram, motherfuckers. Let's go. And 2026 is gonna be wicked.
Let's go. I like it, man. You want to talk a couple more? Because we got more. Sugar Sean, Song Yadong, good fight.
Good fight.
Bantamweight
I like it.
extravaganza.
It's the
perfect
right
match.
fight.
Yeah.
That's a
It's good.
tough one to predict, tough one to break down. It's the right fight.
Yeah. If Song Yadong wins, now you got a new face for Marab, obviously, if he's successful against Jan this coming weekend. And obviously for O'Malley, I mean, Umar Nurmagomedov also on the card. I think if he beats Davis and Figueiredo, that right there is a sick main event to do for a fight night over in the Middle East. I feel like they could sell the hell out of that. Or maybe even a special 5-round co-main event on a numbered event in 2026. So, I got some plans, bro. I got some plans. I did a matchmaking video for 324, and my call was obviously Topuria Patty at the top, which obviously Topuria not available. They went a different direction. But I think that my head was in a similar place to what they decided to come to fruition with these fights like Song and O'Malley. I think was right. Even John Silva, Arnold Allen is fantastic. Good strikers delight between the two of those guys. And then we even have good ladies fight. Thug Rose Namajunas on the feature prelim versus Alexa Grasso, which I've been talking about seeing those two fight for a while now. I'm happy we get to watch it. But what I really want to say, Mike Finch, is who do we got? Where's Waldo and Derek Lewis is my main event, bro. That's fantastic. Come on. Where's Waldo and D. Lou? Two of my favorites at heavyweight going after.
Let's go. You didn't always like Where's Waldo. When did you get
I was
warm? When
always
did
a
you jump
fan,
the
but I
pool?
don't always pick them, man. I picked the Blasco.
I know. Where's Waldo? That was my boy, bro. Don't take my favorite fighters. I'm joking. Yeah, that's a good fight. That's really fun. Those are two guys who can step up on short notice and knock people the fuck out. You got to respect it. And my buddy Voice of MMA wanted to see Aaron Pico versus Gene Silva, which is just like a car crash. That would have been sick. I'll take Arnold down.
I don't think Pico should be fighting a violent hitter like that next. He's still young. I think he needs somebody that's a little older, somebody that maybe he can mix in some takedowns with. Not hyper elite. I'm thinking outside of the rankings for him next. How they should have probably started off his UFC career. But of course, they had to throw him in the lion's den and give him Lerone Murphy, who, went scorched earth on his ass, and then, down he goes. But he can still turn up. I just think John Silva would be a fucking mistake next. I think that's back-to-back violence.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, yeah, John Silva's just got to adjust the style a little bit, man. He just he throws caution to the wind in a nonsensical way. There's a chaos that Diego Lopez brings, but he can win with it. You can't bring that chaos where it's all or nothing. And he really did show some holes in the game against Diego Lopez. Is there news about Diego Lopez? I think I heard.
There is. Diego Lopez gets his second crack at gold as he rematches Volkanovski the next weekend. We have numbered events back to back, which that's kind of crazy, right? Like numbered events back to back. 2026. They're like trying to really kick off Paramount, right? And you know what I love, Mike Finch? The cards start, the main cards, 9 p.m. Eastern time. They took it back an hour. Remember when they did that several years ago and then they switched it? I like it at 9 p.m. Eastern time. A little bit earlier, and I think this is nice,
We're in California. We don't give a fuck about
it
that.
Different. I'm up, I'll be up till maybe 4:30 in the morning on pay-per-view nights. It'd be good to go to bed around 3:30,
Right. Yeah. See, you boys in Florida, you guys could use the love. I like
Yeah.
it. No, that's perfectly makes perfect sense. And back-to-back pay-per-views is wicked. And Diego Silva versus Alex Volkanovski is going to be fun again. But guys, they just fought in April. They just fucking fought in April. We just saw this fight. If it's within a year, like, guys, for a title, for a non-champion to get the rematch, like, it's a weird one. I would have preferred, especially after that Aaron Pico performance where he knocked Aaron out. He did get taken down before that. But after he knocked Aaron out, like, it would have been fun to do a Lerone Murphy versus Alex Volkanovski fight. I get that not everybody's on board with Lerone Murphy. Diego Lopez is exciting. He's Mexican. He's got, he had a fucking fantastic performance against Gene Silva. He gets another crack.
Let's go. I'm excited for what 2026 has in store, but let's not look too far ahead because this coming Saturday, we have the last ever, supposedly, UFC pay-per-view. We're jumping into fight number 1 right away. Make sure you guys hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe it up. We got Mohamed Naimov versus Mairon Santos. To kick things off right, I really have to say, I think that Mairon Santos is a real talent. Slick kickboxing game, more the Brazilian Muay Thai style striking, but he's smooth on the feet with good timing in his shots, and his takedown defense, I think, is pretty sharp for a matchup here. Now, I will say, Mairon Santos fought Francis Marshall 8 months ago, and I thought that he should have lost that fight. I picked Francis Marshall. I felt very good about my prediction, but then the fight after that, he showed evolution and took on a guy in Sadiq Youssef who had nearly knocked out Edson Barboza and at one point was like a real good prospect, and he shut him down for 3 rounds. I think Mairon Santos is very good, and I think that Mohamed Naimov with the Taekwondo base, he does have some cool kicks. He likes the spin attacks to the body and head, and that's nice and all, but I think Santos is going to be too technically sharp defensively. I think he'll find some offensive counters. I think he'll open up, and I don't think Naimov's wrestling is quite good enough to take Santos down and neutralize that striking threat. For me, it's not so much who wins, it's what if a KO or what if a decision. I have to say I do lean towards Santos on the judges' scorecards with a more tactical kickboxing display. What do you think, Finch, man?
Yeah, I mean, especially after seeing Felipe Lima, get it done against Naimov in 2024. Naimov, just not a lot of ways to get people out of there. When you get in a fist fight in the UFC in 2025, it helps to have some like damage. It helps to have like a style where you can inflict damage and kind of steal rounds because they care about it so much. Bro, I was just commentating last week, Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
Oh, we should have talked about
and
that.
Some of the we can talk about it right now, dog. Some of the decisions, dude, they love damage. Holy shit. Some of the decisions. It's like I can't even compare it to the old scoring. I was scoring back in 2018, 2019 for the XFO. This is way fucking different, man. The way they're judging right now is so damage based. It's kind of mind boggling. So I'm gonna lean Santos here. I do think Santos is gonna be able to land big shots and be the more dangerous man, be the guy who's looking to finish the fight. And even if he gets taken down or held up against the fence by Naimov, I think he's gonna still steal rounds. Give me Santos.
Minus 255 on the money line for Mairon Santos, with Mohamed Naimov at plus 215. Looking at method of victory, Santos by decision, plus 100. It's what's assumed. And then if you do think he can find the perfect shot, a KO sitting at plus 285. Note that we've never seen Naimov knocked out before, but he did get finished in the 3rd round by Felipe Lima, like Finch said, last year. And obviously Payton Talbott really made Lima look human. So I think Santos should shut him down. But does he shut him off? Hasn't been easy to do. And I will lean towards decision side, making the most sense here for Santos.
Yeah, Naimov is a pretty tough customer. He probably could gut it out. Very physically strong. But yeah, let's say he survives. Santos decision makes sense.
Let's go. Santos for the win for us both, starting it off right. Next fight, we got Mansur Abdul-Malik versus Antonio Trócoli. I think Antonio Trócoli really has a
get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
Mansur Abdul-Malik should squash him. He should probably finish the fight within the first 2 rounds. I mean, Mansur Abdul-Malik, I feel like the second round is really where he gets going as of the recent 2. But granted, he did knock Todorovic out in the first round. But then, like, Wes Schultz goes to the second round with him, and so does Nick Klein. But both of those dudes are, like, strong, you know, physically imposing wrestlers. Trócoli's got a base of jiu-jitsu. I don't know, though, man. Should he even be in the UFC, really, though? I mean, he was dating Mackenzie Dern for a little while, and they're keeping him around. But, yo, Trayshawn Gorgeous put him in a tight ghillie standing or ninja choke. I think we're going to see Mansur Abdul-Malik bully Trócoli with pressure, probably find his way on top, beat him up, ground and pound. I think Trócoli wilts to some big shots. I think Malik by knockout. It could be on the feet. I wouldn't be shocked if he blew him out with big punches, but there is a chance that we see some grappling and Malik on top. But what I will say is because of Trócoli's on-paper jiu-jitsu ability and his lack of striking, I could see Malik, especially being out of Extreme Couture, at least he used to be. I don't know if he still is. Right now it's saying MMA Masters, but Tapology's never updating this shit. Last time I heard he was at Extreme Couture. I think we could see him use this as a good canvas to showcase some more stand-up. And I think you could see some boxing pressure. I don't think Trócoli likes it. I think we could even see Trócoli panic wrestling, which could get him caught in a submission, to be honest with you. But yeah, I think Malik should finish him for sure. And this should be one-way traffic. And I doubt this thing goes into the 3rd round. It's probably, 2 rounds or less, more likely even potentially 1 round. So yeah, Malik all day, Finch.
Malik all day. You know, should he finish him? Yes. You know, Trócoli, not a very durable guy. Finished in his last 2 fights, of course. And, a little bit of a punching bag. $2 from Swerve. Trócoli is the only notable UFC win is Mackenzie Dern. Crazy work. Crazy work. I did see them together, though. I saw them on the beach out here. Big ass, tall Trócoli. I'm like, God damn. And the goddamn wasn't looking at Trócoli, you know what I'm saying? And then Trap Lord here. Mike Finch is the guy that jumped Mackenzie Dern's husband. Fake news. The news is fake. Fake news. Don't be spreading fake news. Trap Lord. How dare you, sir? Abdul-Malik. But guys, we've seen him kind of take his time a little bit. And, I'm not forgetting about the Cody Brundage fight. I'm not forgetting about, he could be patient at times. So I'm not running to the box office to go and bet like an under in this fight. I think that would be foolish. Who knows when it ends, but Abdul-Malik should finish him within 3.
Yeah, I think Abdul-Malik's good to go. Problem is Moneyline -1,000. Trócoli's a +700 dog. Malik to win by knockout is -400. Malik to win inside distance is all the way up at -700. But if you think Malik might catch him in a sub, maybe Trócoli's getting punched hard and then he starts panic wrestling and Malik does have a win by ghillie, you're looking at submission up at +550. I don't think sub is crazy. If Trayshawn Gore could snatch a neck like that, granted, Trayshawn Gore is deceptively good at that. He did it to Josh Fremd as well. But I could see Mansur Abdul-Malik choking out a Trócoli who's panic shooting at +550. So, better than -400. Granted, the goal is a definite win, but if you're looking for prop betting, you're probably looking for definite plus money tags. And the +550 line for sub is not crazy because Malik, I think you could get him in a front headlock position. I could see a ghillie for sure. I think Trócoli could end up wilting to power shots, but then you look at the Shara Bullet fight, like, he didn't just get buzzsawed. He got beat up, but he was able to get into the later rounds. So, maybe he tries to shoot some takedowns and Malik locks up a choke or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think, like, a lot of people like Malik in the first minute, I don't think we could say that. I don't think we have enough data to show that. I don't see Malik as kind of a Gene Silva or somebody who's going to come out there balls to the wall. He hasn't really shown that, honestly. EMG up in this B, catching the goats finally on the last pay-per-view of the year with the Moneyline gang. Hope everybody finishes the year strong. Let's go. Let's go, EMG. Thanks.
Says the messenger /CCC. That's his lock. Hey, WEMG. Thank you for $9.99, my dog. Paku, thank you for 22 months of membership. Big love to AJ and Finch, man. Trial Finch is premium, and he's the real deal, guys. If I wasn't studying the fights myself, I'd be paying every week. Hey, W to the Finch, man, and Paku. Oh, geez.
Come on, dog. Let's fucking collaborate, Paku. Jump back in there, homie. Thank you, Paku. I appreciate you jumping in for the $1. All right. We're doing year paid in fulls, $100 off for this card because we had no fucking card on Black Friday, and your boy was having Thanksgiving turkey back at home. I went and commentated the XFO. I fucking, hung out in Chicago a little bit. So good to be back on the ball. All right.
Hey, hey, friend Labita, my dog. Thank you for 8 months of membership. Yo, what up, boys? AJ, hope you had a good trip, bro. Thank you, my brother. Yeah, it was a nice time, man. I had a good cruise, bro. I have to say, I'm a cruise fan after going on a cruise. I went once when I was young, and I was like, it's all right. But as an adult, it was actually a great vibe, man. So W, bro. Thank you, man. And I know Finch had a nice time going back home as well, bro.
Just no tan, Chicago was all snowy and shit. Like they had snow on Thanksgiving. What is going on? What is going on, bro? As soon as my plane takes off, it starts snowing too. Apparently they got like 10 inches after I dipped. Thank goodness y'all waited for that. Imagine if the 10 inches came and then I had my flight. I'd be delayed and shit, So I got out of there just in time. Chicago, I'm out.
Good shit. Good shit, Finch. Hey, right here, Abdul-Malik, we're both agreeing she'll buzzsaw Trócoli. It's not necessarily if he does, it's how does he do it. And if you think he's going to choke him, you could get plus 550. But obviously a knockout makes sense. I wish I had second round knockout prop available, but I don't see it in front of me here. So, not at the moment, but hey, maybe a second round prop could end up being a sneaky little plus money if you think Trócoli can survive an onslaught. So something to note, man. Let's keep going though. This next one is good. Iwo Baraniewski versus Ibo Aslan. Okay. This is the battle of the 3-letter name dominance. Iwo versus Ibo. But let me tell you why. Iwo already has a W in it, so he's already halfway there. Give me Iwo Baraniewski to take out Ibo Aslan. I like Baraniewski. He's got big power in his hands, but he is kind of like a ground and pound grappling specialist. But he showed against Muhammad Ali from Brazil that he can thud some power shots to the chin. He's got a big right hand. He does look forward a lot. He's still a young developing guy. So as much as, we can throw flack at Ibo Aslan for losing bad to Cutelaba. Cutelaba's been doing it forever. I also picked Cutelaba as a dog by submission in that, and I was right. And then against Billy Elikana, he got shut down in kickboxing. Ibo Aslan has the look of a monster, right? It's very marketable. He slugs big shots, but the head is on the center line, okay? He's mostly throwing wide shots. There's a lot of openings down the center. Iwo Baraniewski seems to me the more sophisticated and higher IQ fighter, even though he's very young, doesn't have the same pro experience. He has a shitload of amateur fights, which is a good green flag, I think. His top game is solid. He's got the grappling base, Polish grappling champ. Granted, we saw Buyo fucking, at Qatar. That didn't mean nothing. At least we've already seen what Baraniewski can do with some power shots. I think Iwo Baraniewski's a blue chip prospect. I think Ibo Aslan, he's a guy that had early hype, but go and watch his fight against Anton Trócoli, the rematch. He lost the first time to him, but even the rematch, he's busted open. Eye is swollen shut. He gets hit way too much, and he's got a heavy-handed Polak across him. Is that a fair term, Polak, or is that disrespect, Finch? Because I don't know the rules.
Polak is like, it's like when you're in an argument with your wife who's Polish, you like, she's so stupid, that Polak, it's kind of like a little backhanded. Yeah, you got to be careful with Polak. I don't think, Baraniewski is going to care about Polak, but, you say Polak the wrong way, you're going to get into a fight,
Well, he's a heavy-handed Polak savage, all right? How about we give him a compliment with it? I'm picking him, Finch. What do you think?
I got the Polak too. Ibo Asman is just booty on the ground, man. He is not good when it comes to grappling, and him on his back, underneath this Polak is going to be a problem. And then on the feet, like, they're both in a similar area. Baraniewski likes to finish via KO. Ibo's got big power too. So I don't really see like a big advantage for Ibo anywhere. And I do see a big advantage for Iwo. So give me Iwo Baraniewski ground and pound over Ibo Asman.
Let's go. Paku, thank you for the big 5. Once I'm back at work in the new year, won't have as much time to watch tape and stuff. I'll be back in, Finch. Hey, there we go, Finch, man. You got Paku back 2026. with the
now
Savage
I'm
Boy.
good. Now that we got Paku back in there, you know what I mean? Premium channel's lit as long as Paku's in that bitch. Thank you, Paku. Yeah, get your money right, bro. Only buy shit you can afford. You're doing it right. We're looking for a new car for my wife. We don't like doing payments, bro. We just want to buy the car. You know what I mean? I don't want to be like owing money to the bank for a loan. You know what I mean? Just fucking buy what you can afford, you know? Have you seen these things where you can go buy like a t-shirt from the mall and you can make payments on it? This is terrible for society. You know what I mean? Buy what you can afford. Thank you, Paku.
Jared Nunes, thank you for $19.99. What's up, fellas? Hope you both had a great Thanksgiving. Let's get it this week. Thank you, Jared Nunes. We appreciate you, bro. Happy Thanksgiving to you. I hope you had an absolute blessed one, brother.
Thank you, Jared. $20 is generous. Thank you, buddy. Yeah, Thanksgiving was good. Smashed some turkey, hung out with the family. Got to meet my sister's new boyfriend. The dude plays poker, like professional, like poker. He's a lawyer, but he just wants to play poker and he's good at it. So it was cool to chop it up with him. I'm like, all right, maybe you got to get my poker game on point now. I don't even know how to play, you know, but he was hyping it up. So had a good Thanksgiving. Hope you did too, Jared.
Let's go. Hey, shout out Jonathan Bell. Thank you for $14.99. Big love for Big Dog AJ. Let's go. Hope you had a good cruise. Let's get some dollars and watch some wicked fight, son. From QLD Australia. What a savage, bro. Other side of the world, still tuning in. Especially it's 11:27. So over in Aus, I don't even know. What time is it over in Aus? I wish I knew. Hey, W, my man. Thank you for $14.99, Jonathan Bell. We love you.
Thank you.
I got to read some money lines off, okay? And looking at it, Iwo Baraniewski is minus 185. Ibo Aslan sitting at plus 160. Now, I'm seeing only knockout props available. Baraniewski by KO plus 144. Aslan KO plus 144. I do think that Baraniewski very live for the finish. What I wonder is, what is inside distance? We don't know yet, but is it minus 110? Is it plus 125? Or what is it going to sit at? We'll find out in the coming days when they drop the rest of the lines. But I definitely think that Baraniewski is live to finish in Ibo Aslan. I think Ibo Aslan, he's lacking timing on the shots. It's like his wild style worked really well for him at the lower levels, but like he hasn't shown me the evolution beyond it, you know? Like I think it's because he was buzzsawing everybody, you know, on that lower level scene. And then that style is just what he built his game off of. But now when you got these guys that aren't going to fall over when you hit them with a big right hook, they're going to actually come back with a big shot too. He's like, what the fuck? And that's why I think a guy like Baraniewski gives him problems on the feet. And then obviously, like you said, there's a big grappling advantage. So yeah, I think Baraniewski should handle. I wish we had inside distance available right now, but what's crazy is over 1.5 is plus 169. So the thing in this fight ends rather quick, man. So you get plus money if you think it goes a little longer. But to be fair, as a professional, it's all first round wins for Iwo Baraniewski. But he has gone to decision as an amateur MMA fighter before. And you know how many amateur fights he has, bro? My God, 17-3, at least from what we have in front of us, record-wise amateur. 20 amateur fights for Baraniewski.
Wow. And you know, you never know when you hear amateur fights, you never know what they looked like. Like you have to go back and actually look at the tape because like I told Henry Cejudo, he goes, I go 5-0, he goes amateur, pro, I go amateur. And he's thinking like shin guards, like puffy gloves, you know what I mean? When I fought amateur, it was 4-ounce gloves, head kicks with the bare shin, knees to the face. Like we were pro fighters, you know, who were just starting out. And so maybe he fought like legit amateur where they had like headgear on, you know.
He was doing the gammas. There's some videos of it online, and they
fight amateur. That'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, it's
headgear and shit?
I don't remember headgear when I watched tape, but I'm 90% sure they had the shin guards on. I'll double check though. I mean,
that's cool because then that's not so crazy. Like if he does 20 of those, that's not so crazy. But if you do like I did, where it's just an MMA fight, that is, you know, you don't want 20 like that. You're taking actual damage. Like I'm actually fucking somebody up, you know. As to where you got the shin guards on, you can nerf it a little bit. You know, it's a glorified hard sparring match. So
shin guards.
Okay. That's reasonable. That's almost, they would say, smart, because you get a little bit of seasoning before getting out there as a pro. Cool, man. I like him here, man. I think he's going to win inside distance.
Let's go. Hey, W. Baraniewski for the Finch and I both. Let's get to the next one. All right. We got Edson Barboza versus Jalin Turner. Sitting on this fight and making the original prediction when I did Sunday, there was a lot of thought going into it because you have Jalin Turner, who retired not long ago and decided to turn it around and make a comeback. The issue with Jalin Turner has been the mental side. I mean, physically, the guy has the tools to be very good. Look at his match with Dan Hooker. Look at his fight against Gamrot. Look at his win against Bobby Green. Look at the early moments against Money Moicano. He claimed that Money Moicano loss was like haunting him and like he couldn't get it out of his head. I'll tell you this right now, Mike Finch. Against Ignacio Bahamondes, he gave him that triangle, bro. He just had that moment. The way he pulled out, right? He's pulled out and he's like, fuck, tapped out. I don't like that side. I hate the fact that I think he wilted mentally. I worry about the mental side of Jalin Turner, but he's a freak athlete. He's got power in both hands. He's very quick. And I got an aging Edson Barboza on the other side that is close to hanging it up, just lost to Drakkar Klose. I think that there's going to be opportunities for Turner to crack him with big shots, but is nasty with kickboxing always. And say what you want about Edson Barboza having maybe some spotty record moments in the more recent years, especially in his featherweight run. He ain't thinking about retiring. Edson Barboza is a lifetime fighter. This is all he wants to do. So I'm picking Jalin Turner with a little bit of worry. I want to see him weigh in. And it's not so much because I'm so worried he's going to miss weight, which he may. I would love to see the body language, the antics. I want to hear the media day. I want to see, why did he come back? Why did he retire? It's not like he retired for 3 years and came back. It was several months. And now he's fighting Edson Barboza that I absolutely know wants this bad. So it's one of those fights where you got, compromise maybe mentally on Jalin versus a guy that's towards the tail end of his career physically. And it's not like Edson Barboza was a guy that just won with avoiding damage. I mean, his style was dangerous striking, throughout his whole career. So, I'll go Jalin, but he's 14-9. I mean, there's a lot of holes in the game. There's seemingly a ton of potential, but if the mind is not right, it makes it hard for me to stay on this pick. So we'll see throughout the week, but what do you think, Finch? I'm curious.
I hear you. Yeah, the layoff and him kind of getting fed up with the game or whatever, and getting out of the game. Wanted to say that I was hanging out with him at Lights Out. That's him and Sean Merriman and his kids. His kids are very cool sweethearts, man. They were all at the Lights Out event on the fucking November 1st, was it? It was 4 weeks ago. 4 weeks ago. So yeah, it's good to see Jalin, and what a nice dude. And an Edson Barboza matchup makes a lot of sense for him, man. Edson Barboza finally started showing signs of aging. He finally actually looked his age against Drakkar Klose. And so I have to take that data and apply it here and say that Jalin Turner should be able to hurt Edson Barboza on the feet. And then, the ground game, this ain't Moicano. This is, I've heard, Edson Barboza gets some credit as like he's got good jiu-jitsu or something. I don't know where that's coming from. When does Edson Barboza, showing like good offensive, like take the fight to the ground and submit the person jiu-jitsu? I think Jalin Turner is going to control the grappling, be faster on the feet, be more in his prime, hurt, Barboza. So I'm gonna go with Jalin Turner. I'm gonna go with a finish.
Moneyline is -300 for Jalin Turner. It's +250 for Barboza on the opposite side. Knockout +110 for Turner. And then sub +350. I think, obviously I'm picking the same side as you. It's just the worry is, where's Turner's head at more than anything else. Physically, I know he's good,
but I think that might be even a little bit priced in, because if Turner was coming off of a nice KO or something, this thing would be crazy. Edson Barboza looked shaky in that last one, bro.
He did. And he looked tired too at the end. Like, I think with Edson, that pressure of Drakkar started to really wilt him. He was still slugging shots, but Also, let's keep it a buck, man. I mean, Jalin Turner is a lot more dangerous from distance than a guy like Drakkar Klose. Drakkar is that in-your-face dog pressure fighter, whereas Jalin can land the missile. And if he lands it here, how does a nearly 40-year-old Edson Barboza eat it on the chin? I mean, he's going to be 40 years old about a month after the fight. So, you know, he is pushing towards that final run. It's an Edson Barboza that has a shitload of fights, 24-13. We've seen him knocked out 4 times before. We've seen him hurt by even Sadiq Yusuf back in 2023 in the first round, you know, losing to guys like Bryce Mitchell. Granted, you know, Mitchell more of a grappler back in 2022. It's got to be Jalin on the pick side, right? Because Edson he doesn't look the same, you know? But it's just the worry with Jalin is what happens if he got caught with a big shot to the body, and, you know, the kicks of Edson Barboza always, you know, damaging AF.
That's for sure. You know? Yeah, if you're training for Edson Barboza, be prepared to have a baseball bat slam into your leg. I'm a fan of Edson Barboza. I like Edson Barboza. I like his style. You know, the Muay Thai is just beautiful to watch. His time has come and gone. It's hard at these lighter weight classes to compete at this age. Jalin Turner having a little bit of ring rust is real, you know, and you know, your head's got to be in this game. But in this matchup, I got to go Turner. There's no way I could pick Barboza after seeing him slow down like that against Drakkar Klose, a much less athletic guy than Jalin Turner, much less talented guy than Jalin Turner.
Yeah, let's go. Agreed. Let's keep running. Next fight on the card, we got Marvin Vettori versus Bruno Ferreira. Finch, man, I'm gonna let you break this one down first. I want to hear what you got.
Smile. If AJ sees me have a big smile, he's gonna be like, "All right, Mike, you go." Bro, they gotta show some love to my boy Vettori. How are these odds so close, man? It's because Vittori's on a little skid here. Vettori's the younger of the two, you know. Don't get it confused. You know, this idea that Vettori's done or something. Nobody works harder. I don't know, Marab, you know, that's hard to say. But like Marvin Vettori is a fucking grinder. He wants to win. He goes in there to die, okay? He don't go in there to there's no mental lapse with Marvin Vettori. There's no early tap with Marvin Vettori. You know, he never checks out. So you put money on Marvin Vettori, he's gonna fight for that shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. Marvin Vettori, I've seen his training up close and personal. Not really a training partner of his, but we trained in the same room and 2 of the same gyms. And Marvin, he's just too goddamn big. Marvin Vettori is a cardio machine, durable as what's durable? Leather. Durable as leather, and not that bullshit that your leather jacket's made out of. The real shit. Okay. Marvin Vettori should be able to out grapple Ferreira, although Ferreira looked good on the ground against who, like Jackson McVeigh. Like, what are we talking about here? You know, Bruno Ferreira is in a much. Marvin Vettori has fought the who's who at 185 pounds. Bruno Ferreira has had a much different schedule, right? And has some losses too. But Marvin Vettori on a little bit of a skid right now. I do think he bounces back nicely here. I think Vettori is going to show his level, just show his well-roundedness, and if he has to show his durability, he will. I think he can handle every phase of this fight. You know, in the striking, I think he fights at a good pace. He has a couple more weapons. I think in the clinch, he's going to outwork Ferreira. I think on the ground, he finds positions or scrambles out. You know, I've watched Marvin Vettori grapple with Marcus Buchecha Almeida, Fabricio Verdum. I don't see him having much trouble with a Bruno Ferreira on the ground. Give me Marvin Vettori decision.
I like the inside access of hearing how he looked on the ground with some of those guys. You know, I've been going towards Bruno Ferreira's power in the fight, but he has to be able to sustain a rough third round because the gas tank has been the Ferreira weakness. He's got explosive punching power, and, you know, Vettori's got a good chin, but I do think the optics of the fight, Ferreira's big shots, busting Vettori up, I think that could win him rounds. I think definitely Vettori could have moments. I just wonder how Vettori deals with some of the big bombs that Ferreira is throwing from close range and the way that he comes forward pressure. I do think, even though Vettori has always had a really good chin, there's, you know, earth-shattering power from Ferreira at times that he shows in fights. The worry is on the ground. The worry is the gas tank. if he's made some adjustments, I definitely think he could get one over on a Vettori who maybe isn't old in years, but I will say in battles that he's been in, there's some miles on the car on the side of Marvin Vettori, especially, 1-4 in the last 5. It's one of those fights, man. You got two guys in like opposite positions, right? You have Bruno Ferreira kind of surging up the ranks and looking pretty damn good with jiu-jitsu, pretty damn good with power on the feet, but questionable in the cardio element of the game. And then on the opposite end, you got Marvin Vettori, who's kind of just like a cinder block. He takes some beatings, he gives some beatings, I'm leaning towards Bruno Ferreira getting this one and potentially 2 rounds out of the 3 getting it on a competitive decision. But I must say, I wonder if Vettori can threaten with takedowns here. I'd like to see a bit of the wrestling. I think that Ferreira could have Vettori hurt with punches. I could see maybe Vettori not going unconscious because, like you said, that chin is there. But I could see him wobbled a little bit from some big shots. And, like I said, the optics battle, Ferreira maybe taking the first, winning a hard-fought second, losing a third or something like that. So I'll lean towards Ferreira, but I don't think you're crazy for giving love to Vettori, especially, you look at the betting lines. They're very close. They're essentially even money as Marvin Vettori is a -116 favorite. Bruno Ferreira -104 is the dog. You got coin flip territory in this one right here. I want to see how this fight looks. I'm excited to watch if Vettori can turn up and come back. I see PDX saying bet Vettori live after round 1 if he loses the first. If he goes out, gets hit with some big shots and keeps on coming, and then you see Ferreira taking some deep breaths between rounds, there could be a Vettori live bet at like +175 if he loses that first round. That's not crazy at all.
Who puts Vettori out? What is this idea out here? Not even you, AJ. I'm just reading these fucking
No, of course.
What is this idea out here that Ferreira is just going to go one punch sleep him? Like, based on what evidence? Like, this is the guy who got beat up by Ibo Aslan. Are we talking about the same dude? What, he's going to go out there and sleep Marvin Vettori? I'm not even saying it's impossible, but it's like, based on what? Like, Marvin Vettori's fought the who's who in the division. Nobody else is out there sleeping him. He's durable as fuck.
Yeah.
Great chin. AJ called it a cinder block. Whatever it is, people ain't putting him to sleep.
Well,
and
I
that's
think
how Ferreira wins.
Yeah. Ferreira's, I don't know if he's made those improvements, but hopefully the gas tank is a little bit shored up.
Right.
Bruno Ferreira, he's good. Like, I like the way he rips his power shots. I think that he has more steam on his punches. I think he's a little more creative with striking. Vettori's simple, man. Backing you up with some straights. He can win the clinch battle. He's got a little wrestling. Vettori is, in some ways, an incredibly fit and durable generalist, And Ferreira's got big power, right? And he's got submissions, but does he have the greatest takedowns? He's got some judo in the mix, but is he throwing a strong Marvin Vettori? Probably not. Does he have the cardio? Probably not. I don't know. I see it as competitive. I'm going to go towards Ferreira right now at the very least, man. I've been picking them and I'm going to stick with it for now. But obviously, I always feel bad fading the Italian fighters, right? Like, normally I pick Vettori automatic,
bro.
But maybe this is my universal call. I wait till Friday. We see the scales and maybe, maybe I hear some Italian
flag.
music.
AJ's going to be like, fuck, dude.
I know.
My boy. No, that's respect. That's exactly what people should want to see. They don't want to see you always picking whoever you align with for whatever reason, being Italian or whatever. That's a good thing, AJ. That's a good sign.
Hey, let's go.
But Marvin Vettori decision.
You go on Vettori by decision. Thinking Ferreira live on the cards. We'll see what happens with these two middleweight savages in opposite career positions. Let's keep jumping. Next fight, we have Nazim Sadykhov versus Ziam. Really, really dope lightweight prospect fight with the winner on the cusp of top 15. I think the winner has to get a top 15 fight. I'm leaning towards Nazim Sadykhov to have better punch combinations in range, potentially threaten with a bit of the wrestling, get on top of Ziam. I think Ziam has a bit of a questionable bottom game jiu-jitsu. There's Matt Frevola mounted him, and he's on his back against a Mike Davis, who I think Mike Davis had one of his lesser performances, but no excuse. Mike Davis got handled in that fight by Ziam. I just really look at Nazim Sadykhov as a bit of a challenge for Ziam, who does great work from distance, sharp shooter from range, right? Decent in all areas. But I think Sadykhov can definitely land some big shots in close. I think Sadykhov can potentially find his way into some takedowns, into some top control. using some grappling, some ground and pound, and maybe even some submission threats, I think he could even outmuscle the Fares Ziam side. I also really got to say, Sadykhov's a bit of a dog, you know? And I think that southpaw pressure, the punch combos, and with the threat of the grappling, being he's an OG Serra Longo guy, I'm going to go Sadykhov to take out the slick kickboxing. And I'm going to pick him to pull this one off in a dogfight. What do you think?
Yeah, Ziam's a good decision winner. He knows how to slow a fight down. He knows how to get at that kickboxing pace. But Sadykhov, pretty dynamic, pretty explosive. He could potentially catch him with something big and put him out. And then the grappling, you know, Mike Davis getting to the top position, etc. I think that makes a lot of sense for Sadykhov here too. If he could land some takedowns, steal some rounds with some ground and pound, I think this makes sense for Sadykhov, man. Finding a way around getting caught, just standing in front of Fares Ziam and losing a close decision. I think Sadykhov lands the better shots here. All potentially gets him out of there.
The odds on the money line are plus money for Sadykhov at plus 110, with Ziam at minus 130. Sadykhov to stop the fight, win inside distance, is plus 225. Sadykhov to go out and win by knockout sits up at plus 375, with the submission looking like plus 850. I feel like Sadykhov he's good. He's a problem, man. I really have to say, big power in the hands, well-rounded skill set. I think Sadykhov is starting to come into his own. Where the one worry lies for me, Finch, and you can tell me whether you agree or not, is the fact that he is 3 inches shorter, and he's going to be at a 6-inch reach disadvantage from a guy in Ziam who has a decent long jab. But I don't feel like Ziam has the power to keep that Sadykhov, you know, Tasmanian style boxing pressure off of him for too long. I don't think he's going to William Gomis from distance for all 3 rounds and get, you know, a decision. I think Sadykhov will force the fight and take it to Ziam, and I think he can win.
Yeah, I think so. I think, you know, especially with damage-based scoring, I'm going to favor Sadykhov because he's the guy who's going to land big shots, more of a finisher, more knockouts on his record. And, you know, on a nice little roll here, you know, scored himself a finish and has been looking good. I think he lands some big shots and incorporates the grappling. So even if it goes long, he can win the rounds.
Let's go. Finchman and I both going for Nazim Sadykhov, the underdog, to handle and pull this one off against Fares Ziam. Let's get to the next one. We got the ladies going after it. It's Maycee Barber versus Karine Silva. I think Karine Silva still got it, man. Maycee Barber's back. I'm going Karine Silva, though.
Double dogging?
I guess I'm going double dog. Maycee Barber was supposed to fight in the main event of several Apex cards ago against Erin Blanchfield. Right before they were on the walkout, she ended up pulling out of the fight, got canceled. Now she takes on Karine Silva, who's coming off a competitive fight against Diani Barboza, who was the short notice replacement and pushed it on Karine Silva a bit. But to be fair, Karine Silva had lost to Diani Barboza in the past, and that was a, you know, revenge matchup. Fight before that, she loses a competitive decision against Viviane Araujo. When I look at Karine Silva's style, I look at the striking. I like the way she mixes it up. I like her stand-up better than Maycee Barber's. I think is more tactical. I think she's more technical. Now, Maycee Barber is a bit of a nightmare with decent strike pressure, right? With good output. She's a southpaw. She's very much an in-your-face type of fighter that can push a hard pace for 3 rounds, stop the man de Hibas. I just think Karine Silva can outshoot her with the technical strikes. I think she can land some precision kicks and punches. I think she can stop some of the grappling. I feel like Karine Silva is still a problem. And I'm going to lean towards Karine Silva getting the hand raised against a very quick and athletic Maycee Barber in this one.
Yeah, it's a good fight, man. I mean, Maycee Barber, for those of you guys who don't have it in front of mind, was supposed to fight Erin Blanchfield, and it was the latest pullout in UFC history. She pulled out right before the walk. Something was going on backstage, seizure or whatever it was. And so here she is back against Karine Silva. You know, that was a crazy one, man. So I have to, first off, is the health good, right? That's the first thing you have to question, you know, especially, you know, like you're talking about betting on fights. It's like, okay, is my fighter healthy? Like, are they good? The rumor I heard was like it's like a bad boob job, and I've heard that happen before. I've heard from women who've had it or a woman who had it where they were like sick from a bad boob job. So I don't know how that works. Okay, clearly I'm all natural. Okay, but it's an issue when you're talking about this matchup, because I just don't know if Maycee Barber is 100% healthy. She was on a wicked win streak before this. Miranda Maverick, Montana De La Rosa, Jessica I, Andrea Lee, Amanda Hebas, Caitlin Sermonara. That's a really solid streak she was on leading up to the Erin Blanchfield fight, which I think was the main event of that fight night. So that streak is real. Normally I would be picking her over Karine Silva, but with the mix up there, it creates some gray area to me, because I see the striking is very close. I heard you gave the edge to Karine Silva. Very close, I think, on the feet, and then on the ground, you would have to think the jiu-jitsu advantage should go to the Brazilian. Karine Silva's got a nice submission game, not the most reliable, Karine Silva. So, man, this looks like such a 50-50 ladies fight to me. You're going to make me pick this fucking thing. You hear me trying not to pick this fucking thing?
You have to, brother. Pick this side.
Probably Maycee Barber. Like I would pick a healthy Maycee Barber. I just don't know if we'll get that, and where's her head at, I mean, Erin Blanchfield was dunking on her. You heard the post-fight interviews?
Oh, yeah.
She's like, I'll never fight her. I'm like, oh, shit. So I don't know where her head's at. Do I think she can be an MMA fighter here, avoid getting submitted by Karine Silva and kind of grind out a decision, mixing up some wrestling, some clinching, and some kickboxing? Yeah. Karine Silva is a real test for her. Damn near a 50-50 fight. I wouldn't touch this thing with a 39.5-foot pole. For you Grinch fans out there, let's go.
Plus 150, Karine Silva, minus 175 for Maycee Barber, with an over 2.5 at minus 240. We'll see what Barber's got. I mean, pulled out of the fight. She hadn't fought in a year and 8 months. What's the ring rust going to look like?
Facts.
Karine Silva, at the very least, you got to give her respect on the activity. She fought about 3 months ago. I like Karine Silva's sharpness in the stand-up a little more than the output of Barber. And obviously, this side of Barber pulling out just moments before a main event, that's a red flag, because like Finch said, where's her head at? What's she thinking? We'll find out when the cage door closes what she can do against a dangerous Brazilian woman. I'll go Silva, Finchman going Barber, and we'll see what happens with the ladies going after it in this one. Let's keep running, though, because next fight on the card is another certified banger. There's a lot of fights in this card that I think are going to be spectacular. Terrence McKinney versus Chris Duncan. We have the one-round wonder, in Terrence McKinney and the crazy Scottish savage on the other side in Chris Duncan. I'm picking the side of Chris Duncan because I think he can survive the Terrence McKinney first-round storm. He just beat Mateusz Rumbeszki in the last one, and obviously it was a good back and forth, but was able to handle a very durable Rumbeszki, a power hitter in Rumbeszki. Obviously, you look at Rumbeszki and then say, oh, but he got tuned up by Ludovic Klein shortly thereafter. But, Duncan handled him first. My mindset was he should have never even took that Ludovic Klein fight, to be honest with you. But regardless of that, I think Chris Duncan is making good evolution with his game. I think Chris Duncan's striking is sharp. His boxing is real dangerous. His ground skills are solid, albeit he does have that bad submission loss to Manuel Torres. I look at Terrence McKinney and I just worry because, as impressive as the victories are, his UFC career, a lot of it is matchups against guys that he wins against, rather. Or like, I don't want to say handpicked, but okay, he beat Slava Claus. Well, we know that Slava's ground game is a big weakness, and Terrence McKinney's got solid submission threat in round one and a good grappling skill set. Damir Hadzovic, well past his prime. Obviously, as the bad head kick knockout loss to Esteban Ribovics. Brendan Marat win in 20 seconds. Sick how he gets them done in 20 seconds, but it's Brendan Marat. Mike Breeden knockout, but it's Mike Breeden, though. And then you see losses to Nazim Sadykhov, Ismail Bonfim. Second round, he falls apart. He beats an Eric Gonzalez. His biggest wins in his UFC career are against Fares Ziam and Matt Frivola, his UFC debut and his sophomore appearance. but we've seen a lot of L's from him, and he kind of had the quick rise. And now, yeah, he's won 2 in a row, but they're kind of tossing him lighter test. I think that we've seen Duncan have to, kind of pull winds out the fire as he went out and beat Balagioki, who was supposed to beat him, and he gets a first-round gilly, beats Jordan Vucenic, another guy who was supposed to beat him, gets a second-round gilly, gets the decision over Rumbeshki. Again, he's an underdog 3 times in a row. They sleep on him. I have to favor the guy that's been battle-tested against some dangerous customers more often than not. And I think that Chris Duncan could survive the onslaught. I think he can stay safe if they do hit the ground. Terrence McKinney's got nasty back takes. He's got good control. But if Duncan can fight the hands, fight the position, you go round 2, McKinney falls apart. And I can't pick a guy that falls apart after 5 minutes. I'm going Chris Duncan to finish this fight. Finchman, what do you think?
I got Chris Duncan winning this thing, motherfuckers. I think Chris Duncan's the man. You got to learn based on the evidence. AJ just went through it for you. It's like he's the underdog in these various matchups. I mean, look how good he looked against Rebecca. Look at his performances have spoken for themselves. He has definitely gotten better since going to ATT, since shoring up his game. He is tough as they come. I mean, you want to talk about like a reliable fighter. Duncan has no quit in him, man. He's such a winner, through and through. And he's shown all phases of the game. He's shown his jiu-jitsu. I like his kick game. I think it could really work. I think it could beat up that lead leg of Terrence McKinney. And he's not a dummy either. I don't think he's going to get, absorbed into this firefight. Terrence McKinney's dangerous early. But I think if he makes the mistake of like, oh, I'm going to try to fight a little different here, stay off the gas pedal, I think those kicks from Duncan will start coming into play. And I think Duncan's better at jiu-jitsu. I think Duncan's better over 3 rounds. He's got some advantages. And then, if Terrence McKinney wants to go balls to the wall, I don't think he finishes Duncan. I think it's a real step up for him. And then he's going to have a bad round 2 and 3 if he does. So either way this fight plays out, I do keep seeing Duncan getting his hand raised. You just got to look at the body of work, the body of evidence, and go, this dude got better. This dude got better. And in December of 2025, yes, I do think he's better than Terrence McKinney.
Completely agree with the Finchmeister, on point for sure. And the money line odds are not bad for Chris Duncan, -160, with McKinney at +140. Now, expected, obviously, Duncan, if he's to win, it's inside distance. That sits at -145. I saw PDX asking about sub. It's +290 for Duncan by submission and +165 for Duncan to go out and win by the KO rather than decision. I don't know about them going distance. Now, if you want to go round propping it, if you think Duncan handles in round 2, it's +415. So if it's a good first round for McKinney and then he falls apart, you think Duncan gets him done in round 2, you got it at +415. Obviously, later in round 1, Duncan, I think, could also be live for the finish. Bro, McKinney's one of those guys, man. He's like a rocket, but there's no gas on it. It's all black, no gas. And I prefer a Duncan that can mix it up, a Duncan that can do it all. And I like that you're on the same side. I thought that you were thinking the same thing as well.
Yeah, man. I mean, we've seen him against better competition, as you pointed out too, So I'm going to trust that body of work.
Let's go. Finchman and I both going for the Chris Duncan side to handle business. Now, next fight is our featured prelim of the night. We got Grant Dawson versus Manuel Torres, another badass lightweight fight with some serious implications, man. I'm going to pick Manuel Torres to win because I don't think that Grant Dawson can strike with Manuel Torres. Now, Grant Dawson is a dominating grappler. He has incredible wrestling and pressure. He's got very good top control. He beats people up, and his striking is coming along. But I have to look at the evidence of the durability. Clean shot lands, Dawson tends to drop. We saw it against Bobby Green. We even saw it on the regional scene against Hugh Pulley. He has 2 sub 1 minute knockout losses. And I look at Manuel Torres, and he is the definition of danger. Okay. His style is reckless bombs and pressure in your face with big straights, backing you up. He's got elbows. He's got punches. His stand-up game is scary. And you might look, oh, well, Ignacio Bahamondes knocked him out. Remember early in that fight, he had Ignacio hurt. And then he tried to just blitz him. Instead of setting shit up, he gets dropped by the counter straight. And then he tries to blitz him again, drop by the counter straight. But Ignacio Bahamondes is a quality kickboxer. He's a sharpshooting and technical high IQ stand-up fighter. When you have that technical style with the range edge on Torres, I think that's where he can run into trouble. That's not what we have here. Here we have a pressure grappler, but we've yet to see Manuel Torres look weak in grappling. Now, obviously, do I think he has the same level of offensive attacks maybe as Grant Dawson? No. But what I do think is Manuel Torres is a pressure-based fighter that's going to be hard to take down, that's going to have a massive stand-up advantage. On the ground, jiu-jitsu-wise, I would assume that the skill set favors Dawson, but the disparity in stand-up between the two, I think, is wider than the disparity in grappling between the two. And at any point when they are standing, I think Dawson, he's really just taken one shot away from being knocked out. And I just can't trust that against a power hitter like Manuel Torres that has a fantastic straight punch, especially with Grant Dawson, who doesn't have the best head movement. I'm going to go Manuel Torres to catch him with a big shot and put his lights out, man.
Damn, did you just convince me, dude? Fuck. That sounds too realistic, dude. You just fucking teleported from the future and shit with that one. I came here to say Grant Dawson, you son of a bitch. I think Grant Dawson is way better at grappling. I mean, could we get more of a striker versus grappler matchup? It's like, Manuel Torres is so much more dangerous than Grant Dawson on the feet. Oh my God, he puts people the fuck out. I love watching this dude fight. And we actually did see some submission game from him. Now that we saw him lose one time, he's actually showing some wrinkles to the game. Grant Dawson, yeah, you've seen him get caught, but other than that, he's dominating motherfuckers on the ground. His takedowns are really good. He's another one of these guys, well trained, well seasoned in the UFC. He's a machine. His ability to wrestle into jiu-jitsu is beautiful. The blend is fantastic. He really has a pretty damn high-level jiu-jitsu game, and I'm just going to favor that here. I'm going to say that he gets the neck of Manuel Torres and has to avoid the big shots on the feet and does so successfully. But of course you're rolling the fucking dice. You're standing in front of Manuel Torres. He turns his hips and his shoulder over. He could put anybody out.
Yeah, listen, no, the grappling game of Dawson's legit. And then on the other side, the punch of Torres, legit. It is, striker versus grappler. I know Manuel Torres, I know he's got his brown belt in jiu-jitsu. At least I know he's training some grappling. I like the, pressure style.
Dawson's training some striking, bro. He's like, he's training some, but he buzzes to the back so well.
He does.
Against Torres, he smokes him in straight grappling.
I would say, yeah. Then in straight striking, I think the opposite end of it goes. It really is. Who gets to their game first? The question is, what happens if Torres actually has some takedown defense and Dawson can't get him to the mat? And Dawson's then forced to kickbox. And we got Torres blitzing him with a big punch. I gotta go towards power, man. Torres at plus 180 as the underdog is gonna be my call here. Finchman going. Grant Dawson, he's minus 210. If you got Dawson, I'm assuming you got sub at plus 175. If you got Torres, I'm assuming you got KO at plus 200. So, kind of tale of two fights. Can you imagine a world Torres strangles him or Dawson knocks him out? Strange fucking reality we'd be living in with this last pay-per-view.
No, club and sub. Maybe a club and sub by Torres isn't completely insane, but Dawson KOing Torres on the feet.
I couldn't see it.
Unbelievable, dude. Torres is special. Like, his speed and his fucking snap he gets in behind his shots is really something to behold. So count me as a fan. I'd almost rather see Manuel Torres win. His style's sick. But the UFC's got to be careful leaving this one the headliner of the prelims, because if Grant Dawson has his way, he's just climbing on that back, buddy. He's going to climb on that back and he's going to set up shop.
Oh, I'm excited to watch what unfolds between the two, man. I like this matchup. I think it's dope. I think, you look at Manuel Torres, the way he handled Chris Duncan's impressive, though, because he bodied Chris Duncan. He strangled him, and I don't think Chris Duncan's bad on the ground. Granted, it's not like that was 2 months ago. That was back in, not too long ago, but a year and 9 months. Obviously, Duncan's gotten better, but I don't know, man. I like Manuel Torres. I haven't seen him struggle with a high-level wrestling pressure grappler just yet, and I'm excited to find out if he's able to stop it.
It's sick. I mean, Grant Dawson's 23-2. He's so experienced now. I'm just gonna say he finds a way to beat this fucking Mexican, but fuck, dude, Manuel Torres is a fucking problem. I love his style. You know, he's a fun one to watch, man. Manuel Torres, count me as a fan.
Let's go. Well, to close out the feature prelim, Finchman going Dawson. I'm going Torres. Finchman going for the grappling specialist. I'm going for the Mr. Hands.
Of course, baby.
Torres.
I stayed true to my own, homie.
Let's
what
go.
the fuck you thought it was? You thought I was out here banging with these fools? Hell no.
Let's go. Let's jump to the main card opener. If you guys are watching and enjoying, make sure you hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button too. We got Jan Blachowicz versus Bogdan Guskov, and the Finchman's going to kick us off right for the main card.
Hey, let's go. You guys thought I was going to go old man Blachowicz like all you fools? Fuck that. I'm going with Guskov. Guskov's laying bodies hit the flow. Let the bodies hit the flow. Let the bodies hit the Blachowicz is hitting the floor. He's too fucking old. I know you haven't seen him be chinny yet. Just wait until Saturday. Guskov is putting the right hand left hook through that jaw. And if he wants to grapple, he'll grapple. He'll grapple. You know, Guskov is well-rounded, 33 years old, and Blachowicz is 117. I think Blachowicz is going to be a little bit slow here. You know, he keeps it technical with the kickboxing, which has worked out for him so far, but he's up against somebody with some talent now. I think Guskov could get in there and club him. You know, the way he went and slept Nikita Krylov, that's what the fuck I'm talking about, man. He's going to bring some of that energy in there. I think the books got this wrong. I think a lot of people got this one wrong. I'm going to go with Guskov. I'm gonna say he gets him out of there too.
I think Bogdan Guskov by knockout makes a ton of sense, and I'll tell you why. Because he is going to bring the firefight to Jan Blachowicz. I feel like when you look at Jan Blachowicz's last one against Ulberg, a lot of people are like, yo, he could have got that decision. It was competitive. Yes, it was. But tell me, did that not kind of play into the aging Blachowicz's game, the leg kick battle, the distance striking? It wasn't a high-paced fight. It was very tit for tat. Jan Blachowicz can keep that pace all day. But what happens when Bogdan Guskov closes the gap and starts swinging some power shots, turns it more into a brawl? Can a guy in Jan Blachowicz, who is not just 42, he's 42 in 9 months, he's getting close to 43, keep up with a man nearly 10 years younger on a 4-fight win streak right now, looking violent, with big punch power, fast hands, pressure, and I think a quality grappling skill set to go alongside of it? I think the Polish power had its time. And I think that maybe Iwo Baraniewski carries the torch on the prelims. And Jan Blachowicz, I think he's live to get chinned here. We saw Thiago Santos catch him several years ago. And I think that the style of Guskov is one of those types that give a guy who's as sharp as they come in Jan Blachowicz some problems, especially nearly 43. Jan Blachowicz. I think the Guskov hands are heavy, and I think they're fast, which I think is a big problem for Jan Blachowicz here, who also, like, let's not forget, it's not like he was super active all the time. You know, he was off for, you know, like a year and a half, and then 8 months ago, fought Carlos Ulberg, and now you got Bogdan Guskov, who I think is more so going berserker on him. And I think that high output dog style, the big punch combinations, they lead him to success, man. I think Bogdan Guskov is definitely one to watch in this UFC light heavyweight division. And at 33, at this weight class, that is like hitting your stride for most fighters. And I think that's exactly where Guskov is at. I think he's putting Jan Blachowicz down and out.
I think so. I think so, man. 43. God damn. And, you know, his style is this kind of slow the fight down style. You know, that's the way he fought Adesanya. It was just like, check the kicks, make sure I block and parry everything. You know, I'm not doing a whole lot. I think you hit the nail on the head. When Guskov makes this thing a fight, that's when it gets lopsided. I think he's the right man for the job, AJ.
I think so too, man. I think Jan, that last fight, it disguised the age. It was disguised because Carlos Ulberg played a tactical game with him. It's not what Guskov's going to do. And he's an underdog. I got one of the fucking realest prospects right now on the come up. I'd say contender on the rise in Bogdan Guskov at plus 120 against a guy in Jan Blachowicz, former champion, definitely a badass OG, but nearly 43, who's a minus 140 favorite here. And he hasn't been crazy active. I can't reason with that call. I mean, if you look at the UFC career, right, the 5-fight span for Bogdan Guskov, and then it's just 2 fights ago for Alex Pereira, the opponent of Jan Blachowicz, when Pereira's debut at 205, which, you know, Jan could have got that decision, but styles make the fights, time makes the fight. I think this is Guskov's time.
I think so. You know, generally the guys, as they age up at the heavier weight classes, it works because it's not as fast of a game, you know, up at the heavier weights. And that helps. Like at heavyweight, you saw Randy Couture win the title from Tim Sylvia when he was 46, you know, but as far as Jan Blachowicz is concerned, I mean, 42, 43 years old. He's fought some of the best guys, the Poatan and the Ulberg fights. But he's only fought one. The Carlos Ulberg fight was one fight since 2023. So not only old, but like inactive too, you know? Yeah, man. Yeah, I think Guskov's going to come in here and break the windows.
Let's go. Finchman and I both going Guskov. If you like Guskov by KO, it's 2-1, but you can just money line it at plus 120. All right. So W Guskov, the Finchman and I both calling the underdog to kick off the main card. Let's jump to the next fight on this main card. We got Henry Cejudo versus Payton Talbott. I'm picking Payton Talbott to get this one against Henry Cejudo, man. I don't know where Cejudo, his head is at, talking about this is his last fight. This is the farewell. I really think his best days are far behind him. And Payton Talbott looked good against Felipe Lima, who, you know, had us convinced he was a monster on the rise. He's 11 years younger. He's a sharpshooter from range. Like, yes, we can look at the Hani Barcelos fight and say, oh, well, he got bodied. Well, he made some adjustments after. And granted, Hani Barcelos is a nightmare. I don't know if Henry Cejudo at this point is beating a Hani Barcelos where he's at right now in his fighting career. I don't know. I don't know where Henry Cejudo, man. You know, it's been 3 fights over 2.5 years. He retired, you know, back, 5.5 years ago, then came back 3 years later. He spent prime years on the sidelines because he was trying to test the UFC's might by, you know, threatening to call it and then maybe get some type of super fight. It just didn't come together. And now 3 losses in a row versus a dangerous prospect with a lot of upside. And not only does he have a lot of upside, he's got a 6-inch height advantage. I mean, he's a lot taller than Henry Cejudo. I think he's going to be able to deal with Cejudo's takedown threat. I'm sure Cejudo's live to hit a couple, but does he keep Talbot down? I think Talbot's striking is sharp. I think Cejudo's just past his best days. You know, we can talk about the X's and O's of the fight, but the truth is we don't have the same level of Cejudo right now nearing 2026 as we did. If we have Cejudo from 5.5 years ago that fucked Dominic Cruz up, it's a different conversation, but we don't have that same guy. Even if we had him from 2.5 years ago, giving Aljamain Sterling a tough fight, I just don't know where I rate Henry Cejudo right now. And when I hear a fighter talking retirement, and I know Henry Cejudo be smoking a lot of that weed, man. You know what I'm saying? And he's getting stoned as hell.
What are you talking about, dog?
I think that he don't got it no more. I'm going with Payton Talbot to win.
I went over to Henry Cejudo's house. First thing he asked me, he's like, "You got any smokes?" I'm like, "Yeah, bro, I got you." I bust out the. Should I plug him?
Do it.
Jeters. I bust out the Jeters. We smoke one. He's like, "Bro, what was in that thing?" Videos on my YouTube if you guys want to see it. So I did an interview with Henry Cejudo and we were barbecued. Yeah, he linked me and Mike Tyson up, and I gave Henry another one of those Jeters. He fucking happily took that shit. I think he's taking training camp seriously. Come on, I don't think he's smoking weed right now. I think he's taking training camp seriously. I think he's gonna go for this W. And we all saw how Payton Talbot got out wrestled by the Brazilian. Name is escaping me.
Jaime Barcelos.
Barcelos. Hannah Barcelos was able to hit those takedowns in that fight and come through as a massive underdog against Payton Talbott. So does that hole still exist? Well, Henry Cejudo is 3.5 feet tall, and Payton Talbott is pretty damn big for the weight class. So the height difference is going to be insane. Like Henry Cejudo is going to have to close so much distance. And if we're honest, Henry didn't primarily use wrestling in the UFC. He's primarily a striker in the UFC. He always has the wrestling, and that's how he won the title with those inside trips against Mighty Mouse. But even remember back to that first Mighty Mouse fight, he was in fucking Muay Thai shorts, banging overhands. Like Henry Cejudo trained with the Pitbull brothers and learned this kind of deep stance, karate stance, and then comes in and bombs with the big shots, no jabs in the game at all, which is a very unique style and really worked for them in their prime when they were super explosive. And Henry Cejudo's prime was one to behold. I mean, people like to hate on Triple C, but Triple C, when he beat Mighty Mouse in that second fight, some high level shit. You got to respect where Henry Cejudo was at. In this matchup with him being, I don't know, half a foot shorter than Payton Talbott, relatively inactive, a little bit old for the weight class. I got to lean Payton Talbott here, but is there a pathway for Henry to out wrestle him? Of course. Henry Cejudo's wrestling credentials are way better than Raoni Barcelos's. And Raoni Barcelos was able to make it happen. I would just say Raoni Barcelos is more in his prime and kind of surprised and overconfident, dare I say, Payton Talbott, as to where we're kind of seeing a Payton Talbott go back to the drawing board. I like the Lima win was pretty damn impressive. Lima, not primarily a wrestler, certainly not an Olympic gold medalist wrestler. So would I bet on Payton Talbott here? I would not.
Are you picking him?
I'm picking him. Bro, the size differences. When you see weigh-ins, it's going to be stupid.
I'm looking forward to it, man. I think another day at the dock with the $2. Thank you, bro. Slop card. Cejudo should crush Soy Boy. I don't know if it's the same Cejudo. Listen, if he goes out and does the thing and Cejudo shows out and beats Payton Talbott up, I think why is he even retiring? Like, let's just keep on keeping on and keep banking some checks, But him talking about this is it, the last dance, and the UFC for the last dance is like, hey, here's Payton Talbott, instead of anybody else. I don't know, Marlon Vera fight or something like that. They're looking to build Payton off his name, and we'll see if he can do it. The odds for the fight are crazy. It's minus 265 for Talbot as a big favorite, plus 225 for Cejudo here. So Henry getting no love on the betting lines, my God. But I do think Talbot's range is too much. I think his slickness is too much. And I think that Henry Cejudo is going to lose the decision.
Yeah, man. I think that Payton Talbott's fucking dangerous too. Like, he could rock Henry with some shit. Payton Talbott is a special striker. And, it has a speed advantage. Henry's fought at the top of the game, though. I mean, people are quick to judge my boy Henry Cejudo, but he's fought at the top of the game. He was competitive in there with Song. I think that in this fight, again, like I'm not writing him off. I'm not so confident that I would bet against Henry at this point, especially because of the way they match up. I mean, Henry sees it. He's watching the Raoni Barcelos fight at home. He understands. So let's see what Henry's going to look like wrestling. I think an issue for him will be closing that distance. They're in the big cage. It's a UFC pay-per-view. It would help him to be in that small cage so he can cut Payton Talbott off a little better. Payton Talbott should let his strikes go, and he might be able to get Henry out of there.
Let's go. Finchman and I both picking the side of Payton Talbott to go out and win. If you do like knockout, you think he sleeps, the OG, it's plus 225 for Talbott, plus 105 for decision. The knockout prop being Moneyline is crazy at minus 265 for the Talbott side. Let's get to the feature fight of the night. We got Brandon Moreno versus, oh shit.
We're not glazing though, dog. We're not glazing. I don't think, are we glazing?
I think we're just giving an honest take. Thank you another day at the dock for the two, my brother. He said he's a bantamweight Kevin Lee, bro.
That's crazy work. Like, how did you make that reference, dude? What, because they're half black? What's going on with the fucking Kevin Lee reference?
Shit.
That's crazy work, bro. Payton Talbott is special. Like his finishes are sick. His striking is unique. This is just me like observing. I'm not even like a fan. I'm just observing. Like that when you see them at weigh-ins, I think you're gonna have second thoughts. Help me.
You know what that is? Honest analysis, Mike Finch, and it's always appreciated, bro.
Trying to do it, bro.
Well, listen, let's get to the feature fight. It's Brandon Moreno versus Tatsuro Taira. And I want to hear you break this thing down for us first, Finch, man.
Sick matchup. Yeah. Sick. Love it. I think Assassin Baby can outstrike him, bro. I think Assassin Baby could dot his ass up on the feet. And that's tough because his offensive grappling is fantastic, man. Fuck, this is a hard fight to predict. I have to predict this shit. Can't I just watch this shit and enjoy it? Can't you guys let me off the hook on this one? I think Tatsuro Taira's pathway is clearly to get to that grappling. If he tries to start slow against Brandon Moreno, box with him a little bit, Assassin Baby's loose. He's relaxed. His shoulders, the collar's never up. He's relaxed. He's smooth with his strikes. I think he's going to start smacking Tatsuro Taira, moving around there in that big cage. Tatsuro Taira, a beast at the apex, a beast when he can get a hold of you, a beast when you're going to stand in front of him and not move athletic. But that's not Brandon Moreno. Brandon Moreno changes stances. He's dynamic with it. I have to slightly lean Moreno, but Tatsuro Taira, I could see him getting that back. And when he gets that back, it's beautiful work. I teach exactly what Taira does to all of my students at UFC Gym Huntington Beach. You get that back, you put one hook in the opposite side, it's power half. Boom, we're putting that person down. I'm putting my hands together. I'm fucking driving that power half down, and we're putting them on their side, and we're getting to work because that stops the escapes. I can't believe how many UFC fighters don't use that power half. It's so good, and Tatsuro Taira really shows how it can be used in mixed martial arts, just like Gordon Ryan uses it in jiu-jitsu, just like wrestlers use it over in folk style wrestling. It is a very effective way to break somebody down, and he does it expertly. He slaps in that power half, he breaks down Assassin Baby, he gets him on a hip, and then anything is possible. He could find that neck. In a 3-round fight, I think Assassin Baby's going to be able to outstrike him, survive if he, gets his back taken, win a close decision. Tatsuro Taira is in this thing. Count me a fan.
I think it's a dogfight. You look at this matchup, and really it's if Moreno is striking and boxing with him, I think a little bit more of that Mexican style boxing accuracy could be a factor. But Taira is pretty quick. He's got some whipping shots. He's got some quick straights, and he's coming together nicely in his mid-20s, and his back takes are out of this world. So I count myself on the side of it's going to be close. I see it going either way, but the Taira side is going to be my side. I think he could win some positional battles by taking the back of Brandon Moreno. I'm interested in seeing how it looks for a 3-round fight as opposed to a 5. I would, honestly prefer to see 5 rounds because this right here, is one of the top contender fights in the weight class. I think that Taira could take that Moreno back. Does he get it under? If he gets the back early, he could do it. But Moreno has been, kind of the definition of a stubborn mule as far as submission defense. So I'm going to favor Taira to get a close one on the cards. The odds are essentially even here. -122 for Taira, +102 for Moreno. I can see some boxing from Moreno. I can see some slick striking from Taira. I can see some submission threats from Taira. I'm curious to see how they match up on the ground. I think that the jiu-jitsu is better for Taira. The wrestling is better for Moreno. Now, I would say that Moreno probably is a slightly better boxer. So you could give him 2 out of the 3 areas. But am I confident that Taira's creativity and grappling couldn't land him in a dominant position if they tangle in close, using clinch work, getting a back take from the clinch? I think that's a possibility. I'm going to go Taira to pull this one off, man. I've been high on Taira for a while, and I did pick against him with Royval as the Savage Dog lock that week, and I was a big underdog. This time, I think he passes this elite test, and I think Taira is closing in on a world title shot. I think he's going to get a decision over Brandon Moreno and take his back throughout some moments in this fight, and I think that PDX Hoya is an absolute badass. As he just dropped $99.99. Brandon Moreno is like an ATM in the betting game. Is bent over boxer style, protects against the takedown, assassin baby all day. Respect, PDX. Thank you for the 100, bro.
Thank you, PDX. He came in to tie it up with Trading Champ. He couldn't let Trading Champ only have the 100. You know what I mean? He had to come in and compete. Yeah, I mean, the way he boxes is going to be super effective in this fight because Tatsuro Taira has to close the distance on him. You can't really play like a rangy kicking game with Assassin Baby. You got to come in with him. And you're right, as he's bent over, he should be able to let those hands go, a little bit of Ilya Taporia style even. But it's Assassin Baby style. He's got his own way. You know, he makes you hit his elbows a little bit, stays nice and relaxed. Throws combinations, has some speed to it, keeps the chin tucked nicely. So, yeah, I think Assassin Baby should be able to dot him up on the feet. You know, we can't ignore what we've seen with Taira striking. With that being said, I mean, you know, you're saying Assassin Baby all day. I hesitate to say all day because of how special that initial, you know, clinch to back take is for Tatsuro Taira. Might be the best in the UFC.
Let's go. Thank you for 99, bro. And shout out to Another Day, the doc for the 2. We said Moreno going to win via some bullshit.
What the fuck? Why some bullshit? Why is he on bullshit?
Oh, he's taking a close decision, man. I mean, the odds are even. I anticipate a fight going into the later stages, and I'm excited as hell to witness what is probably going to be some flyweight madness here in the feature fight, which, you know, leads us into the co-main event, which it's time to jump into, which is for the flyweight belt. Alexandre Pantoja versus Joshua Van. My prediction is Joshua Van to pull off the upset, Mike Finch. I really believe that Joshua Van's boxing combinations are some of the best in the game. And I know a lot of people are comparing him to Jack Della, okay? I don't believe it. I don't see those comparisons. Joshua Van has some rip and punch combos, some nasty leg kicks, and he's slippery too on the ground. I don't think Pantoja is just going to buzzsaw through him when they hit the mat. The reason I like Joshua Van here is his pressure. If you do not fear Alexandre Pantoja, you can have success against him. Steve Ursay went into that fight almost with the ignorance is bliss and gave Alexandre Pantoja a real run for his money. But then you have guys like Kai Asakura and then Kai Kara France getting buzzsawed. Why? Because they're looking for one big shot. What Joshua Van does better than anybody else at flyweight, which poses a real threat to Alexandre Pantoja, is multi-shot combinations. I think the way you beat Pantoja is you have to be consistent with boxing pressure, or rather kickboxing pressure, and combination striking to the body and head. I don't think looking for one big shot works on Pantoja. You have to set him up with multiple. And I think Joshua Van can do that. I do think Pantoja can find moments in the fight. I think Joshua Van's grappling defense will really be on display. I also think that Joshua Van has the potential kryptonite frame, being a little bit short and stocky, to deal with Alexandre Pantoja's grappling threat and stay safe if he is in compromised positions on the mat. I'm going and new. I'm a Van's witness for a long time. I'm having faith in my guy. I think he is going to pull this one off, and I think he's taking this one home in the upset in the co-main event. And new champ, Joshua Van.
Woo! Woo! Yo, AJ loves Josh Van. AJ, you love Josh Van's style,
He's the
bro.
man, bro. The style is sick.
Love the style. Joshua Van is 24 years old, AJ. Pantoja has kids in Brazil that old that he's never met. You know what I'm saying? God damn, he's 24 years old getting the title shot. Remember when Charles Johnson knocked his ass out last year?
He's coming back.
You remember that? Yeah, he's been active as fuck, and you gotta respect the activity, but it's against Edgar Chairez. Who gives a fuck? Cody Durden. Come on, dog. That's the wrestling. That's the wrestling we've seen him against. The dark horse of the division, Cody Durden, who can't hold gatekeepers back. Bruno Silva win was nice in the third round. That was nice. And then the Brandon Royval win, bro, that was razor close. That was close down to the wire. He did score that knockdown in the third, and that got him for him. But He ain't ready for Pantoja, AJ. Come on, son. I'm going with Pantoja. I'm going to say Pantoja takes this kid down. I haven't seen enough evidence, AJ, that he could deal with somebody who's going to be able to mix it up on the feet with them and then mix in the wrestling. The blend of the two. Like Van can plant his feet a little bit, try to let those little hands go, and then boom, I think Pantoja's changing levels, climbing onto that back. I've just been too impressed with the man. You know, I've tried to find ways and to say, you know what, Pantoja's got this problem, that problem. He's actually super well-rounded. He's actually that's the problem is Pantoja can strike with Joshua Van too. That's the problem. It's not like Joshua Van's going to blow him out of the water there. So Van's going to have to respect the striking enough, and I think he gets taken down. Can this kid get another title shot? Absolutely. He's 24. By the time he's 28, he might be the fucking man. Joshua Van might be the man. But on Saturday night, a 35-year-old prime Pantoja, I think, is going to get these takedowns, bro. I haven't seen enough evidence to say Pantoja can't take him down. And then when he does, I think Pantoja's fucking him up. Pantoja, great at pinning people on the ground, great at controlling the back, beautiful jiu-jitsu once he gets the wrestling going. I think with Van's style, he's not mobile enough to not let Pantoja get those entries. You know, I think Pantoja gets to the hips. And when he does, I think it's a series of unfortunate events for Van. I really do think Pantoja finishes him.
Respect, bro. I got to bring up some donos real quick. We got the D-Gen Den with the 199. Love y'all. Plus 289. Malik, Turner, Sadykhov, Marab. I mean, shit. I think Finch and I agree. You're pretty live on the run-in for that one right there, bro. W, man. Thank you for the 199. Another day at the dock. Thank you for 2. Pantoja via 49-46. Close fight is his prediction. All right. And then PDX Hoyer with the 49.99. Fading you again, bud. No more AJ Valentine-style hope bets. There is no hope, all right? The cannibal has met the match. The fearless, okay, will overcome the cannibal this Saturday. Joshua Van, be prepared to witness something great this week. And I'm telling you, bro, the last pay-per-view in the history, they say, and maybe at least for a little while, I'm going Joshua Van, I believe. Thank you for 49.99, bro.
Damn, what a moment for Joshua Van that would be, man. And you know, AJ, I think his style matches up with like what you want to see too. Like he's showing you all the green lights, you know, the combination punching, the forward pressure. You know, his takedown defense does look pretty technically sound. But like my criticism is like against who, right? At what level? Are they really threatening him on the feet, or does he feel like I can just walk forward on this motherfucker, you know? And then the takedown defense comes easier. I think Pantoja punches him in the face. He gets a little, and then the entries are just going to happen. PDX Hoya, thank you for the $50. Awesome. Let's fucking go.
Odds for the fight: plus 200 for Joshua Van, minus 235 for Alexandre Pantoja. Joshua Van to win a decision is plus 450. If he was to get a KO, plus 375. If you like Pantoja by sub, it's plus 125. And Pantoja on the card sitting at plus 275. I really think Joshua Van is going to give Pantoja the problems with the combos, man. I think the issue with these strikers is they're one-shot hitters. They're looking for the big punch, and it's not going to happen. You're not going to put Pantoja away with one. I think Van's way to win is a dogfight, putting pressure on strike combinations. I'm not saying he won't be taken down. I'm saying you guys will be impressed by his ability to scramble out of position and to fight against the bad spots. I do think Joshua Van's short and stocky frame makes him hard to choke out, and I think he'll fight the hands well, even if Pantoja does get to the badass back take that he has. So we shall see, man. I'm excited as hell for this fight, man. This is the one right here. Yeah, this is going to be great.
It's the one we asked for. We both wanted to see this matchup.
Yes. This card is a pipsqueak paradise. Another day at the dock. Thank you for the $2, man. Listen, badass violence, pipsqueaks doesn't make a difference, man. They're still kick-ass savages, and I look forward to it, man. Sometimes the best fights are the little guys, bro.
Yeah, come on, man. I feel like some of these matchups are fun, like this one we're on.
Yes, I love this fight, man. I really am hype as hell, guys. I think of the whole card, I love the main event. Obviously, it's the main event for a reason, but this one speaks to me, bro. This one
Yeah.
speaks to me. Let's
Yeah,
go.
this is a fun fight, man. I'm gonna if
Yeah.
Van starts fucking landing some combinations, I'm gonna jump over to your live right away. I know
Let's
AJ
go.
is gonna be hat's gonna fly off. You
It's
guys
gonna
are gonna
fly
have
off. Let's go. Let's go, man.
Van knockout, hat flies off. Is that what I just heard?
Half flies off, another one's under it, something like that. I'll see what I mean. Flies off out of screen. You know what I'm saying? That people won't see
Fucking
it.
clown show over here, dude. This guy's got
Hey.
the layers.
Let's go. Let's get to the main event. If you guys are watching and enjoying, please hit that like button. If it's your first time watching, subscribe to the channel. We got Merab Dvalishvili versus Petr Yan 2. I'm picking Merab to win. I think Petr Yan is spectacular. He's a sharpshooter on the feet, nasty stand-up, good knees up the center, good kicks to the body, stiff jab, real high-level boxing chops, smooth movement. But the issue is Merab Dvalishvili is a relentless pressure fighter, okay? The gas does not dwindle. His 5-round cardio, really, it's not 5-round cardio. It's 15-round cardio. I think Merab could probably do 2 fights back-to-back, and I don't think he'd be breathing heavy. He is a different animal when it comes to these guys fighting in the bantamweight division or really any weight class. He was able to handle Petr Yan 50-45 last time. And yes, Petr Yan has been able to put some wins together and earn himself a rematch. And I'm happy to see that he's got this rematch and they're running it back. Petr Yan's a bad man, but it's Song Yadong, Davison Figueiredo, and Marcus McGee. None of those 3 prepare you for what Merab Dvalishvili is going to do. I'd rather have seen Yan get a win over Mario Batista in the in-between. At least a guy that can bring some of the wrestling pressure, some of the output. I look at Merab and I think it's going to be similar to the first time, but he said it himself. He's looking for the finish. And where does he find it? On the ground. I think that Merab can have a better performance this time, learning from the first fight. Dealing with a Petr Yan the first time and 50-45ing him is crazy. This second go around, I think Merab can land some big shots even on the feet. I think Yan's going to be frustrated with the pressure. I think it is live for a rinse and repeat. But I must tell you, Mike, I think the one area of Merab's game that has started to sharpen is his finishing ability, specifically by submission. And I do think there is a chance that Merab is able to get Petr Yan in a compromised spot on the ground and threaten with that sub and potentially be the first guy to finish him by submission and first guy to finish him, period. So my pick is Merab Dvalishvili. And still, what do you think, Finch, man?
Merab's on a roll, man. The most title defenses in a year ever. Is that right? I think that's right. Merab's on a fucking roll. You got to respect the type of work Merab Dvalishvili, can't get that wrong. It's easy to get wrong. Has put in, and I think the pace is going to be tremendous. If anything from their first fight, it's Merab who looks better. Merab's the one who's got all this championship experience now. Merab's the one who has really grown, like he's made a style out of the cardio. He's just made it a part of his game over 5 rounds, because he only had 3 rounds to work before. He doesn't need any big slams or, anything crazy now. You remember when he picked up Henry Cejudo and walked across the cage with him. I mean, I think that it's just bread and butter stuff from Merab here. My worry about Merab is almost like the unfocused part, because during the fights, he wants to talk to Mark Zuckerberg and kind of play with his food a little bit. It's literally the only hang up I have. I would hate to see something crazy happen to Merab because he wants to talk to Elon Musk cage side. You know what I mean? I think that he could if he just bites down on the mouthpiece and fights his fight here, he dominates Petr Yan again. And as AJ said, it's like, what is really going to be different here? I think the difference is that you're seeing champion Merab Dvalishvili and that potentially he could try to get Petr Yan out of there. Petr Yan's going to be hard to finish, AJ. The boxing's really tight, really nice, defensively sound. But the problem he's had is he has that high shell. And whenever you come up there for that high shell, those hips are there's a vacancy sign there. They're just wide open. If you have more of a style where you keep your hands a little lower, you could actually protect the legs and you actually find underhooks. You can go back to the Chuck Liddell days when he's fighting with those hands down and these wrestlers are shooting on him and he shoots those underhooks under those armpits, throws them off and circles out. you know, that's something that Petr Yan does not have the luxury of. And if you're going to allow Merab the entry, yeah, Merab finishes takedowns really well. The single leg trips are fantastic. The high crotches. I mean, he's just he's going to shoot takedown after takedown. He's a really bad matchup for Petr Yan. I thought Petr Yan had a nice little streak here. Song Yadong is you know, pretty damn respectable. The Marcus McGee outing, Davison Figueiredo, these are quality wins. It's nothing like the Merab problem, and I don't think he solves it, man. I still think, though, Merab will want to finish. He'll probably play with his food and get a decision.
Respect to the Finchman, and respect to the DGen Den for $199. If you put it together correctly, this card is $4 WW. Thank you for $199, my dog. Hernanov, thank you.
I like betting on this card.
I agree too. Hernanov, thank you for 22 months of membership. AJ has unlimited hats. You know what it is, bro. Thank you, Hernanov, my dog.
PDX, he's Jewish back there. Holy shit.
Ha, 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 ha. Shabbat shalom. This is the kind of fight I used to foolishly bet the underdog on. Merab all day. Agreed. Merab all day, PDX. Thank you for 3 months of membership, my boy. Another day at the dock. Thank you for the $2. Merab via 500 failed takedowns. Ooh.
Failed. He just lets him up. Another day at the dock. He just lets him up. You know?
Right. No love for him, man. I know. The DGen Den, thank you for $199. Why am I against the odds makers so much? Because, man, sometimes the underdog snipers are the cause for you, my dog. And it doesn't mean you won't win if you're against them. You know, they don't have the crystal ball. They got the algorithms.
That's right.
And then shout out to Jacob Salt down at the bottom with the $199. AJ and the Finch man, let's make Christmas happen. 2 goats. Listen, it's Christmas on, you know, December the 6th when this card goes down. All right. It's going to be a fantastic event. It's going to be spectacular. And Finchman and I both lined up on a good amount of the picks on the card.
Yeah.
A few disagreements on some dog fights. Merab's a -400 favorite. Petr Yan's +330. I don't see Merab losing this fight. I think Merab is going to buzzsaw Petr Yan. I really think Merab will be live for the finish, but of course, we haven't seen evidence that anybody is finishing the side of Petr Yan. But what I'll tell you is, if you're on the DGen Propaholics train, maybe you're tuning in Thursday and you like what I'm doing, +1200 Merab via submission. You know, I think if he is to finish, I would favor him winning by sub over knockout. Knockout's +900. So something just to note, man.
Yeah, Jesus, bro. Petr Yan is pretty fucking hard to finish. I like a lot of bets on this card. The like Merab 5-1 line's not one of my favorites, and picking Merab via finish, dude. I don't know. I see a pretty, like, you know, Petr Yan's a fucking champ. You know, I think they go long.
Let's go. Another day at the dock. Thank you for 2. Merab should be -100,000, bro. Listen, you got him at -400, then you're really looking at great value. Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, if you believe that, put your money where your mouth is, dog.
Man. Yeah. Finch, you ready for the parlays, bro? Is it time?
Let's do this.
All the competition that try to compete, stand back, watch the bomb drop.
Parlay time. Open up your wallets and let's bet on some fierce fights.
Yeah, parlay time. If AJ puts Joshua Van in this parlay, I'm gonna fight his ass on Saturday night. Yeah, yo, shit, we got some good ones. I'm gonna peek at the full card, because as we did this thing, the most confident. As we did this thing, I put my most confident together just so I got a good visual in front of me. Mansour Abdul-Malik, way too outpriced, right? It's too ridiculous.
It's -1,000, man. So it's up to you, but it's -1,000.
No, we're not doing that. Bro, I think Ibo Aslan is really that bad on the ground, dude. Give me Iwo over Ibo first leg.
I'm going Joshua Van to pull it off. All right, with Iwo Baraniewski +358.
What the fuck? This is the craziest. If this hits, the odds on this parlay are stupid.
+358, but I'll do one for the Finch man too, because obviously I know he doesn't love that one. I got called out, Finch, so I had to jump on Joshua Van. You want to know? My first thought was you were gonna go Mairon Santos, and I was gonna go Merab If you want to throw the side of Mairon Santos, I don't know. That's just something that makes a lot of sense. Iwo Baraniewski and Mairon Santos at plus 114, I think is one for the masses, you know? The Joshua Van one would be more the wild child side. And obviously you can just throw down on Joshua Van straight down the center, you know?
Exactly. If you guys are going Joshua Van with AJ's crazy ass, you guys need to just fucking bet that straight money line. Don't play with no props. Don't play with no bullshit. You know, that straight money line would be wicked. And I sense some confidence from the corner of AJ on Joshua Van. Is it a confident pick?
I feel good about it, man. I really think I finally have found my kryptonite. I think I have good reasons. Yes.
You gave me good reasons, and I know you have a deep understanding of Joshua Van's game. You know, you've been on Joshua Van. You've been like, this kid is
every time
the real deal.
Yeah, I think he will live up to it, man. He's one of those fighters that has stood out to me, and even the Charles Johnson fight, everybody fucking thought he's a scrub. I was like, I thought he was having moments. I thought he was figuring it out, and he got caught by a badass in Charles Johnson, who's a completely different style too than the side of Pantoja. Also, shout out Another Day at the Dock. He says Iwo via Demolition Derby. Thank you for the 2. Yeah, Finch and I agree. I think Iwo Baraniewski should wreck Ibo Aslan if he has any, you know, potential on the come up, bro.
Ground and pound. Ibo Asman is just way too bankrupt on the ground. How are you getting head and arm choked by Ian Kutalaba and one of the ugliest head and arm choke setups from half guard? It's like, come on, dog. You know, that's some white belt shit. So, but that's what we see in the UFC. Not everybody's Tatsuro Taira with the jiu-jitsu.
No, it's true, man. I think we have not just a good card this week and a sensational one. Yeah, obviously, this is the second to last card of the year, man. So we enjoy it while we got it. And then, you know, the UFC will go dark for a little bit over a month. I have some big plans, bro. What I'm going to be doing when the UFC is out is shitloads of live streams, random videos, but also I'm fucking fighting all of you guys in UFC 5. I'll be bringing back the Fighting the Subscribers live on Tuesday nights. I might even add in a couple extra nights a week since we'll be bearing with UFC on Saturdays. I might have to do like a 7 o'clock gaming stream or something to keep you guys entertained, man.
Yo, that's crazy. Maybe I got to hop in on that, dude. What am I going to do during the break? I think we got to start betting on bare knuckle and fucking PFL.
Does BKFC have some cards over? Well, let me check out the schedule.
Nice. That would be nice. Yeah.
Let me check it out for you, Finch. Let me see what's going on. So BKFC, they have a card December 20th, but then I'm seeing nothing till February. So they're not capitalizing on the UFC being off. We got the Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua fight. Are we doing a breakdown? What about PFL? Let's check this out real quick. I'm trying to see, man. I listen, I think that all of the league should take advantage of the UFC break, but they're not. Exactly. They're not. They just don't. I don't know. Bogdan via 29-28 diarrhea slop. Thank you Another Day at the Dock for the 2. Damn, son. Thank you for the 2.
Hope he doesn't have diarrhea.
Bro, nobody doing it? My God.
You know, do we have to like set up a fight? Do we do a fight night?
I guess.
Do our own. We set something up. What do you think?
Yeah.
You know what we should do? We should do MMA Guru versus MMA Joey. Wouldn't that be the fight?
That's the fight of the year,
right?
Yeah, they
were.
Both
big boys. You know what I mean?
Heavyweights. Yeah.
They're heavies. You know, I'm gonna lean Guru, bro. I'm gonna lean Guru on this one.
I would too. He's got a Taekwondo background.
What's that?
He's got a Taekwondo background.
Taekwondo. I like that background. You know, my first ever coach when I was a kid, well, I did wrestling, so I can't say that, but my first ever MMA coach, Taekwondo black belt Rick Bronswick, rest in peace, absolutely changed my game. Like that footwork, that Taekwondo footwork, get in and then get back out. That is great for fighting. You know, you can make a lot of shit miss with that base. So, you know, anybody with kids, I usually tell them gymnastics first. You know, get your kid able to do a, you know, forward roll and do a, you know, you got to start somewhere. But eventually, like those karate or Taekwondo classes are actually fantastic for the kids. People are like, oh, it's, you know, stupid. They're not learning. Yeah, but what they can take out of it for later is worth it. So that's a good base. We'll put out a feeler for Guru, see if he wants to do it. And
you gotta have 6 figures ready to go, man.
We'll have Mighty Mouse at the press conference. Him and Guru can figure that shit out. I think it'll be fun.
That would be a fucking dream card, man. Hey, DJ and Den, thank you for $1.99. Do a futures podcast predicting 2026 belt/fights. We'll do fun stuff like that.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
let's do one money line. And we'll have some fun with it. Yeah, that sounds good.
We'll do a fun show. We got ideas, man. We'll be doing off week stuff. We'll probably do like members join the show type of thing and chat it up with you guys. So there'll still be content. And you guys know, man, I'll still be bringing it with the off week live streams. There'll be a lot of shit going down.
All right. I like it. Yeah, I'm with it. So we'll keep the ball rolling. Guys, we got a pay-per-view on Saturday. We got another card after this, the Manel Cop fight. We're here. Don't worry. Let's
go. And I'm going to get the Mike Finch Show channel ready to lock and load. You guys can check him out. He is going to be, hey, shout out to Another Day at the Doc. Parker Porter versus Jake Paul, who wins MMA rules. I mean, I would maybe think Jake Paul knocks him out in the first round at this rate. I don't know.
Porky Porter and Jake Paul. Why do we got to welcome him with Porky Porter? How about this one? How about Jake Paul makes his MMA debut against Gable Steveson? I like that one. First,
not even fair.
Joshua. He's got to fight
Holy
Gable.
Shit.
He'll get all the big athletic, heavyweights.
That would go bad for him, I think.
Gable Steveson looks like a problem. Dude, that fucking shot to left hook to takedown on the fucking unconscious body, that shit was impressive.
The guy's scary. He's got big power. He's got good timing, and he's a fucking Olympic gold medalist.
What are we playing games for? Can we at least get a Dana White's Contender Series fight now? What are we playing games for? Come on, we got to see this guy.
Let's go. Listen, Finch, I got your channel linked up in the live chat for the people. So if you guys are watching this and enjoying, Finchman will be going live with his most confident picks for the card. You guys are definitely going to need to check that out. Make sure you guys hit the like button here, smash the subscribe button, and tune in tomorrow. I'll be back with the lunchtime live. I'll have a show in the evening. I might have a video in the in-between. So I'm back on business, Jay, bringing the thunder. So keep it locked in every single day with me, and make sure you go check out the Finchman. Any final words, brother?
Hey, the hardest working guy in the game right here. You guys know you got to keep it locked in with AJ all fucking week because he's cranking out content for you guys. Rain or shine. He texted me today, bro. I just flew in from fucking. Of course we do the show, right? There's never a fucking doubt with AJ DeVito. He's fucking on it. So he deserves the subscription. He deserves the comment. He deserves the like. You guys could come see me after this. I'll be doing my 5 most confident picks for this pay-per-view. I'm very excited to do it because I believe this is a solid fucking betting pay-per-view. We're doing $100 off for your paid in fulls to extend it from Black Friday since we didn't have a card. I hope to see you guys over on the dark side. I'll be live in a few.
Hey, we love you guys. See you all in a little while. Peace out and good night.